New at 10 and only on WAAY 31. A WAAY 31 investigation follow-up, this time on Alabama's rape kit crisis. Many of you reached out shocked after learning the state's laws seem to do more to protect rapists than victims.
Such an important issue after taking some of the loopholes we uncovered. Two lawmakers, all of whom promised change. WAAY 31 morning anchor Demetria Green followed up with them, and now that the session is in full swing, to see what, if anything, has changed.
It's been 4 months since I last spoke to lawmakers who said they were going to do something to strengthen the system. At last check, these problems still exist and there are no new bills filed to fix it.
For some people, it's awful, but for Alabama, it's Tuesday.
Alabama is still trying to catch up to the rest of the country when it comes to protecting sexual assault survivors. Back in October of last year, I identified several critical gaps in the law.
In my hand is House Bill 21.
To several lawmakers, including Alabama Representative Chris England. There is no requirement for hospitals to tell law enforcement about a rape kit being collected. No requirement to have a rape kit picked up in a timely manner when it is collected. And even if it is picked up and taken to the state lab, there is no requirement for it to be tested. No tracking system for keeping up with completed kits.
I know a lot of your research pointed you to the fact that, like you said, sexual assault victims didn't have a really friendly environment when they reported those assaults. And many sexual assault victims felt like the system was actually kind of, biased against them.
Since that story aired, viewers like you called and wrote us, and even more reached out to lawmakers, all demanding change. I honestly expected to see it too. So I was very shocked to learn the issues I raised were not on the agenda for this year's legislative session.
But to our credit, legislature's credit, we've taken a lot of those stories that we've heard and have made some progress. We still have some work to do.
The representative says a task force is currently analyzing these issues to see what they need to focus on.
Then we'll take that report and then start crafting legislation if necessary.
But I wanted more specific examples of what's being done right now to protect those victims. So I drove 3 hours to Montgomery to talk to our top leader.
When I last did this story, I wanted to speak with the governor. Now, she was not available to meet, but she did send this statement right here. Now, what stood to me the most about it is this part, how they're working to ensure the safety of sexual assault survivors. So I wanted to know, well, what's being done to do that? I tried to have a sit-down meeting with her and reached out to her multiple times, but was denied.
You're not the only person that struggles to get the governor's attention on several very important issues, and I hope as the session goes forward, she will engage in that conversation.
As for one of the issues I raised, a strict timeline for police departments to process rape kits. Angelo Dellamana, who is on the task force, says that is not a good idea. As the director of the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences, he told me it often takes weeks to months for investigators to gather witnesses and then proceed with the criminal case, which could pose a problem for that strict timeline. However, in the Sexual Assault Survivor Bill of Rights, there are now protections for every law enforcement agency in the state to record how many sexual assaults were reported, closed, and tested, and it must go on the public record.
Dellamana says the next step is to get colleges and universities to get more forthcoming with their sexual assault numbers. Now, I will continue to stay on top of this investigation and on top of that task force as well. With coverage you can count on, I'm Demetria Green, WAAY 31 News.